What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. We've got our next little wave of Burst of Destiny reveals. Very, very cool. Looks like we got a handful of reptilian cards. Very cool. Very interesting. I wouldn't say I'm the particularly like the biggest reptilian fan, but I am an Ogdoadic fan, and so if there's anything cool here that crosses over there, I will be definitely looking for some cool, just generic reptile crossover synergy. But yeah, other than that, let's just jump into this thing, okay? All right, starting off, we have Reptilian Lamification. This is a level 2 dark reptile effect monster. Her design reminds me of the last one we got. It's another like low level one with low stats and stuff. I don't remember exactly what it does though. Anyway, he level 2 dark reptile, 200 attack, 0 defense. You can only use one effect of the first and second effects of this card per turn, and only once that turn. So you got to pick one. You cannot do both in the same turn. First effect reads, during the main phase, if you have a reptile monster in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. Okay, so just kind of a quick effect. Kind of annoying that it's only main phase. Like, why couldn't this just be like just a pure quick effect at any point? Like, reptilians definitely need it. Like, it's not bad, right? Because reptilians not only is just like a cool stat modifier, but reptilians also make their money. Their whole gimmick is like they make stuff 0, and then they have like certain effects that when like something's 0, they can destroy it or do something else. That's pretty much how it works, though. Pretty much. They want to just make stuff 0 because they get other floodgatey kind of effects or disruptions that kind of bank on that. So it's still a disruption, but you'd also just have the added utility of like scaring your opponent out of ever going to the bet, like attacking in when they're playing this deck. They need to be very careful to make sure you don't have this card, but they will know, because once they get to the battle phase, they will be safe. Second effect, if your opponent controls a monster with 0 attack, you can special summon this card from the grave. That's pretty cool. I mean, the first effect kind of like fulfills that. So if you're going to do that as a quick effect on your opponent's turn, you then will have this engraved to pretty much just come back for free as follow-up. Free level 2 body. Nothing crazy, but it will immediately be able to beat over the monster you made 0 on your opponent's turn if it's still there. And yeah, that's kind of cool. I think it's a decent card. I don't think it's great. They could have made these. I think they could have made these easily, like able to activate in the same turn. I think this could have been at any point, not just main phase, but you know, not too shabby. I think it's a decent card for reptiles because reptiles are way outdated. They need a lot of help. Okay, next up we have Reptilian Quattro. I actually like her design. Her design's pretty cool. Level 4 dark reptile tuner effect monster with 1400, 1000 in the stats. First effect is a hard once per turn. If you control a dark reptile, special summon this card from the hand. Then you can special summon a reptilian monsters from your hand up to the number of monsters with 0 attack your opponent controls. Okay, so jumps out of the hand pretty easily, and then also gives you the potential to pull other cards out of your hand. Very important that it's only pulling reptilians, not reptiles, so it doesn't have full synergy there. But it does jump on the field if all you control is a dark reptile. That does actually have synergy with Ogdoadic. So that's actually not too shabby. Second effect, if this card you control is used as synchro material for a reptile monster, you can treat it as a non-tuner. Okay, that's kind of nice. I mean, just adds a little versatility in the way you're probably able to sequence things. The fact that it doesn't have to be the tuner is pretty nice for sure. So yeah, it's just like a nice little bonus effect. I'd say overall this is like a decent little extender for the deck. We'll see. I mean, the fact that it just jumps on the board really easily could be good in just any dark reptile deck. Ogdoadic does play a lot of darks. But I do think its second effect is a little, even for pure reptiles, like or reptilians, it's kind of tough because you have to be going second. It only is pulling more stuff out of the hand if your opponent has 0 attack point monsters. So just keep an eye on that. Not the craziest card, but it's a nice little extender for them. Not breaking them wide open, though. Next up, we have Reptilian Melsine. This is presumably our boss monster. It's a synchro level 8. Let's see. It's a dark level 8 reptile. Synchro 2800 or 2500 attack, 2800 defense. So the Eldritch, the Golden Lord stats. Its materials are any reptile tuner plus a non-tuner. Okay, so half generic. The other half needs a reptile tuner. You can use the second effect of this card's name once per chain, but not once per turn. Interesting. Nothing else is once per turn either. First effect, if this card was synchro summoned using only reptile monsters as material, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Okay, it's pretty good. No targeting protection. That's like mwah, icing on the cake there. It's about makes it as good as it can get without being a towers, but I think that's all pretty good, right? Pretty good protection for sure. Second effect, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, target one face-up card they control, change its attack to 0. That's pretty nice. And like we said, like I just said up top, that's only once per chain. That's not once per turn. That is once per chain. So if your opponent keeps spinning, so like I don't remember exactly how this deck disrupts the opponent. I want to say they have like a floodgate-y effect where it's like anything your opponent's at with 0 attack, they're either like skill drained or they get destroyed if their attack becomes 0 or something. I don't know. But this is really nice because this is just what the deck wants to do. It wants to make everything 0. And this is what this card does. And it's got big protection effects. And if this synchro summon card you control is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, you can add a reptile monster from deck to hand. That is completely generic. It's pretty good. Sent to grave, by the way, by card, your opponent's card could mean battle or effect. So that's actually a pretty good float. It's a pretty good generic float. You just can't trigger it yourself. But interesting card. I will say that the second effect, well, it's not itself disruption. It does need to pair with something else. It's pretty nice, I think, for what reptiles are, right? Big, non-indestructible card that makes everything 0 and it floats. Pretty decent. All right, then we got 2 spells rounding us off here. First, we have Reptilian Lamification. It's a normal spell you can only activate once per turn. This card reads, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, then choose 2 of these effects. You cannot choose the same effect twice. Also, you resolve them in the listed order, skipping the one not chosen. So you're going to send a card from hand to grave, then you get to do 2 of these in succession. You can add 1 reptilian monster from deck to hand. Okay, we got a Rhoda. Second effect, add a reptilian spell or trap from deck to hand, except for another copy of this. Okay. And the last effect, change the attack of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls to 0. Wow. This card's kind of crazy. This is a really good Rhoda. I mean, it's great consistency for them. Again, I don't know how powerful their plays are, but I have to assume like this is a 1.5 card, just any discard with this essentially. Actually send, so that could actually trigger potentially certain things. Add a reptile monster, add a reptilian spell or trap. Or going second, it could be add a monster, change something to 0. That way you're able to pop off more big, crazy effects, whatever, right? We know how a Reptilian Echidna is. I actually just remembered that card just now. That's the link to the archetype has that says they can search any number of reptiles up to the number of like 0 attack point monsters your opponent controls. So make something 0 with this. Echidna makes something 0. You're at least searching 2 free cards. Okay. And the last card here. This card's crazy. This card's crazy. I don't know what other reptilian spells or traps exist or monsters off the top of my head, but I'm definitely going to have to go back and look at it because this becomes super interesting as like a search consistency power card, potentially with like an Ogdoadic cross build, right? That's definitely tickling my jimmies a little bit. And the last card here is Reptilian Recoil. This is a field spell, okay? You can only use each effect of the first 2 effects once per turn each. First effect reads, you can target 1 monster you control with a 0 attack and a dark reptile monster in grave. Destroy that first monster on the field, and if you do, special summon the second monster from your grave. Okay, I hate that this should have just been any 0 attack point monster on the field. Maybe in translation we'll see this go away and it's just target any 0 attack point monster. Destroy it to reborn something. Like that would be a little more strong because you're literally taking a card from your opponent and reborning something of your own. But that's actually fairly weak, I think, that you have to kill something else on your field to get it back. Second effect, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target 1 face-up monster they control with 0 attack and take control of that monster. Then special summon a reptilian token. That's a reptile level 1/0/0 to your opponent's side of the field. Interesting. Okay, so the second effect is supposed to, I guess, feed into the first effect, which actually makes this card a little bit better. Makes the first effect better, that this own card facilitates it. it is just another disruption. Like if you just set up the synchro with this, then you immediately will just have the ability to make everything 0. Then this card will give you a snatch steal at least. And you do replace them with a token. But if they're on like a specific synchro or exceed or whatever strategy, the token may actually be really awkward for them to like even try and do a play with. So that's interesting. Yeah, this card's okay, right? Like I don't like that it telegraphs the disruption. Your opponent will know that you have this disruption live, but disruption is disruption. I'm not complaining about that. Yeah, I think this card's just kind of okay. Maybe it's like a 1 of or a 2 of if it's like searchable off of something like this. But I'm obviously not banking on it. I'm not playing all in with a 3 of or anything. But overall, going back on these cards, I think this card's probably like a 6 for them. It's pretty nice. This card's probably like a 6 for them. This card's probably like a 7 or an 8. It's pretty good for reptiles, reptilians. Indestructible. Makes stuff 0 on the fly, not even once per turn, and floats pretty generically. That's pretty good. This card's crazy. This card's like a 9 for them. It does discard for cost, so like it gets super punished by Ash and stuff, but still, this card has to be a 1-card combo. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but it seems like it'd be like a 1-card kind of combo. And then the last card, I think this card's okay. This is just kind of like a 5 for me. Pretty underwhelming. First effect's underwhelming. Second effect makes it a little better, but it's like a mediocre disruption in my opinion. So yeah. But cool. Nonetheless, Reptilians, definitely a deck that has deserved support for a long while. Echidna was okay. They got that one other one-off card, but this is an archetype that needed more than just 2 decent cards like that. They need a whole new revamp. This stuff will probably make them cool and interesting. I'm going to have to go back and read some of their older cards and see any other extra synergy that I can see in there. But of course, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know if I missed any synergies there, whether it's with other reptile support or just with other reptilian cards specifically that already exist. Let me know your thoughts on those. I'd love to hear that. Other than that, we've got like 10 days left until the OCG gets this entire set. So we are right around the corner. We're probably going to have a ton of reveals still coming. So very excited to bring you those. So subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all big Burst of Destiny reveals or any other card reveals for that matter. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.